Okay, so thank you for having me. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Mohammad Azhar. I'm working as a technical sales consultant at AVEVA Select Scandinavia. So for the next 20 minutes, now I think it's 15 minutes because Doug, you went over. Um, so I'm going to take you through the more the technical stuff around AVEVA Operations Controls. It's kind of a commercial offering that we introduced, I think, 3 years back. So first of all, digital transformation, right? So Professor Henrik mentioned that, and kind of become a buzzword these days. But if we step back and ask our customers, what is the meaning of digital transformation for them, and the answer is oftentimes very simple. They have a lot more data than they ever had the entire time, and we also see the trend of more and more departments existing at our customers' organizations. We have the maintenance department, we have the quality departments, we have the HMI SCADA guys, buying their own software. We have the manufacturing guys buying, the MES software, quality, and all those different departments. And on top of that, you have the IT, right? That is bringing their policies and bringing their tools also on top of that. So that becomes really complex. And these different disparate systems were not really meant to come together. And that's one of the issues we're trying to address with the operations control. Typically what we saw is, for the, when it comes to the automation world, the HMI SCADA systems were really geared towards one role, which was the operator. And we are now increasingly, we are seeing organizations putting information into the hands of people, the people that I described in the maintenance department, all the different quality MES, so they can make better decisions, right? And they can be successful, in their roles. So the question really becomes, how do we share this information across the organization? So as a VO, we're not just focusing, we're not just a monitoring control. I think heard John Krajewski say, we don't want to have our, we just, sitting here and having a Kodak moment, because the next generation of HMI SCADA is going to be pretty different. And that's why we see these developments into the hybrid type of solutions that, Doug described. And we may ask, what type of activities would benefit from having, access to operational data? And there are a lot of activities that we can see. So this is just one example of a supervisory user where she is having her cup of coffee in the morning and really preparing herself for work, and maybe she's able to get hold of some data in for instance, some incidents happening at the plant floor, during the night shift, so she can prepare herself mentally. So when she enters the premises and she knows what is going to hit her. So throughout the day, she'll be engaged in a lot of different activities, right? So she's going to do maybe a shift handover, maybe some on-demand assistance, maybe there's going to be some line changeover. Maybe she's going to document some standard operating procedures, create some content, being out there on the factory floor, helping, assisting, troubleshooting, and all that stuff. So all of these different type of activities, they require different set of tools and different set of capabilities. So I think what I'm trying to say is that the scope of what AVEVA is providing today is much, much larger than we ever had before. So the next one is I think the same one. Let's see. Sorry, I went to the previous slide. Okay. So essentially, we want to provide information across organizations to facilitate a much broader set of activities. So a lot of activities, as we mentioned, controlling, planning, repairing, execution, maintenance, and optimize. And how do we really navigate, this digital transformation? So there are some typical steps that we do. Like we connect to our devices, and once we connect to them, we collect information. We store that information somewhere. We analyze it, visualize it. We find patterns, right? We predict maybe uptime. We predict quality and all that stuff. Maybe we do some reporting, and also we solve problems at a greater organization. And over the years, our customers have bought individual type of InTouch stations, system platforms, plant SCADA servers, and realize that only a small number of our customers really leverage the full breadth of our capabilities, what we offer. And we look to organizations like Microsoft, Adobe, those with really huge portfolios. How do they bring, their portfolio together to, to really provide, more consistent experience and to cater for all these different activities that I mentioned, right? And also all the different roles in the organization. So kind of a culmination of that is what we call the operations control. And this is kind of the commercial package, or there are actually two packages that gives you basically unlimited functionality on-premise. So I'll start off with the Edge package, which is really built for the frontline team, so people that are working tightly, type of panel-based type of operations, people that are very, very tightly aligned with their processes, with a very limited scope. Maybe, the last shift, maybe a couple of days. You can look back into the historical history of data. So the scope is very limited, and we also think, mention things about, like industrial Internet of Things and so forth. And typically we pitch InTouch and products like Edge in this package. And then we move up to the supervisory package. Supervisory is for more centralized, management of distributed operations. So we're talking about robust monitoring control, tools for process optimization, and a full and centralized type of historical database. And products we find in this space is a system platform and Plant SCADA. And both of these packages, they come with a shared set of core capabilities, as you can see there in the middle. So we have, of course, data communication, collaboration tools, reporting tools, right? Data analysis, development. So I'll try to go through at least three of these common components. I can't go through all of them, and I'll try not to speak too much about system platform, Plant SCADA. You already know these products, right? So more on the common components. And then for the manufacturing guys, of course, there are some add-ons that you can purchase on top of the operations control, which is the composable MES, batch management, recipe management, and so forth. And if you also want to do some analytics, guided analytics, or advanced analytics, it's also available as add-ons for this package. So this is kind of the commercial model, unlimited functionality, primarily on-premise, and we also give you access to Connect, right? So let's look at some of these common components. I'll start out with the communication drivers. And AVEVA's legacy for the last 20, 30 years. So be able to connect to everything that bleeps and that flashes. So I think we really nailed that space. If you combine all the portfolios together, we have like 5, 6 platforms within AVEVA. There are more than 300 drivers. So we really nailed that space. So what we're looking into now, of course, the more open standards. Doug was speaking about unified namespace. There's a lot of things happening there. We're also seeing a change in the devices themselves, right? So they're becoming, from being passive into becoming active. So you can discover things within them. You can discover their namespaces, right? So, and there are open standards, of course, that are leading the way for this. OPC UA, we all, oftentimes you also see OPC UA built in as, modules in the PLCs. So you can basically just connect to it and you can suck in that information, right? The next one is the edge-driven. That's something we implemented many years back, that we call, the auto build, where you can look directly into the structure of a PLC, and based off that, you can create your templates, you can create your instances, from that structure, which is, engineering efficiency. Scalability in terms of multi-instance of our drivers. So now you've been able to do so for many years now. So you can deploy your drivers, multiple instances of the same driver on the same server. And that gives you a lot more flexibility in terms of, maintenance, for instance. If one PLC is down, that does not affect the other PLCs, the other connections. And it gives you, of course, much, much better performance. And in terms of strategic directions, I think what's going to be the common theme for operations control going forward is really the OS agnosticism and being portable, as Doug was referring to in his presentation. And also, when it comes to open standards, it's going to be a lot more focus on, especially the OPC UA and MQTT going forward. So one example of that is this productivity tool. So we're connecting to this this MQTT broker via this tool, where we see that there's a model that is being exposed, right, in the broker. So we connect to it, and we discover the model, and we can actually create a system platform model just by pointing to, for instance, this node in the structure, and based off of that, you'll be able to create your galaxy. Okay, so again, engineering efficiency, and this is really the direction we are going in. So it's gonna be a lot of speed dating of all these different components because there's so much to cover. Historian, you already know historian. This is a high performance historian. You know its capability in terms of both storing data and also be able to retrieving data. But oftentimes we get the question, now as we've acquired Pi, what's going to happen with historian, right? It's going to drop dead. Is it end of life cycle? I think we recognize that Pi does certain things extremely well compared to historian, but the other way is also the case. So, for instance, storing alarms historian is really good at that. Providing historical data for historical replay in OMI, so you can go back maybe 6-7 hours to check what's went wrong, or during maybe an incident, what did the operator do, how did the process behave after the operator input and so forth. It offers native HMI SCADA integration, right? So there are tons of tools, .NET clients, apps, previously in ActiveX controls, that you're going to embed directly into your operations management interface. You also get direct access to SQL Server, right? So you can direct your queries directly, even though the data does not reside within the database, it's on the disk. But again, that's really, I think, great for especially engineers. So Historian was really, designed to be kind of the historical database around, process control. Why Pi is more like an enterprise for enterprise type of analytics and opportunities. And also, we can now replicate our data from a tier 1 historian to a Pi server, right? So not just data, but also the model itself also. So we basically have a common model both in historian and Pi. Okay, so next up is reports. I feel it's oftentimes under-communicated, this product. We have a lot of customers who've been bought, system platform bundles. They have operations control, but they're not really leveraging this really user-friendly, product reporting tool that we have. It's the previously like Dream Report. No programming required, no SQL scripts. It gives you access to secure browser, mobile access, and it has connectivity to all major HMI SCADA systems, historian databases. So I'll just take you through really quickly, the steps to get going to generate a report. So you start off by connecting to our data sources, whether that's PLCs or historians, or could be your InTouch, LGX, or LGH files. And then you design your reports in the Designer Studio, where there are tons of templates for reports and templates for pages. And you can build your own, of course, templates and then start generating your reports. That can be generated off of an incident or based on a schedule, right? So an incident or an event could be, for instance, a batch stop or maybe a shift end or whatever, right? And it can generate these reports in all these different formats. So PDFs, Excel, whatever. In addition to have the web portal, which is really available and accessible, so you can go and generate your reports more like ad hoc. Pick whatever asset you want, pick whatever tags, the time duration and whatnot. So it's very easy, user-friendly product. Next up is the OMI. Okay, so I was not supposed to go too much into system platform, but I want to mention this one because that's also something that Doug touched a bit upon. We called it OMI back in 2017 when we introduced it. And the reason for that is that the operator is interacting with the operations and not the specific individual machines, okay? And really, OMI has really become the core visualization technology across AVEVA. So we already started that journey. We call it VizCore, the same technology that is built, that is used for the Unified Operations Center and also for InTouch now coming in 2026. They're going to leverage this technology of OMI VizCore. So just a quick example, you see these WA, that's WebAssembly. And you can see that you can get a consistent experience across all these different platforms, leveraging this technology that we call WebAssembly. So this is really the first thing that AVEVA has done that is truly OS agnostic. So here's an example where we had this app, web application that we can install as an application. And when things are built on this WebAssembly technology stack, we can install it as an application or as an app, right? And we call it a progressive web application. You can install it on Windows. You can install it on Android, iOS, any tablet, mobile phone, whatever. It really gives you the flexibility and also the hyperscaling that we've been the customer has been demanding for so many years now. We had one customer that wanted to hook up 1,500 clients, which is not really possible if you design that solution like a server side type of execution. So things are the rendering is happening at the client side. That really makes it possible to scale our visualization. Next up is the solve, right? So we want to solve problems that have, as a broader organization. So teamwork is also part of the operations control, and you can think of it as like Facebook or a digital shift logbook for the factory floor. This is where we really capture, the knowledge that is out there, the knowledge that is up there in the heads of experienced people, and we capture that and we digitize that knowledge, right? In terms of tech notes or documents. So first of all, digital knowledge. So you can, for instance, go to an engine or a motor, or whatever, an asset, and you can scan your QR code and quickly get access to the standardized LabVIEW instructions. Maybe there's some videos, some PDF documents. So really a knowledge base for your plant floor. And then skills management, it has its own certification module, so you can get certificated on certain procedures or a production line or some type of equipment, any asset, right? So also for the supervisor and the managers to really get that overview of all the different certifications and competency matrix. And essentially it's a collaboration tool, okay? So you can connect with other workers, you can chat with other workers, you can exchange your ideas, you can change your problems. And if there are any issues you identify out there on the plant floor, you can also use the issues management. So you can capture those issues and you can track them, you can escalate those to for instance, some subject matter experts. So this is really, really a great collaboration tool for the plant floor. This one just goes to show that how we are able to embed the teamwork widget directly into the OMI application. So not only do we have access to the in this case the HMI screen, but also embedded in this one you get access to all the knowledge base that exists in teamwork. So kind of evolving products that you keep adding your content into it, and that will be really, really beneficial for the new hires to get them ramp up and be able to access best practices, access content that was previously not accessible. Okay, so I think our vision for operations control is really to empower you, right? So we provide a complete set of tools for your operations for you to really become successful. And these are the products that we've shown also with Doug's slides. And just lastly, it's not sold by tag, not by engines, not by object servers, not by screens, but merely by users. It's a user-based model. So you can roll out as many historians, you can roll out as many engines, drivers. You can leverage the multi-instance capabilities of those drivers. So you have really the full architectural freedom. So lastly, what I would say, AVEVA Operations Control is not just a technical, but also a commercial innovation to really help you navigate your digital transformation. That was my 20 minutes.